Ladies and gentlemen of YouTube, Big Bubba coming at you live through the power of the internet. As you see in the description below, this is going to be my review of the Tna Impact Wrestling from the 7th of January. Their debut on Destination America. So to start off, I know a lot of people have, since TNA's kind of went this new direction the last few months, last few years, no longer having Jeff Jarrett involved, a lot of people have stopped watching them. I am not one of them. I still think they have a unique product with their X division, with the smaller guys getting a spot. With that being said, that's one of the reasons why I still watch Impact. I like seeing the smaller guys getting a shot compared to the bigger guys, the guys that are like Triple H, and the big guys, the freaks. That being said, I'm going to get into it a little bit more. Now, to start off, I really don't understand why they started it off this way as a big brawl. It's interesting to note, though, in that brawl, there's one person I saw that I did not see in that brawl at all, and that was Eric Young. So I think that should have been, if you did watch the Impact show, you know what I mean. That should have been a preview of what was going to happen later that evening. I did like to hear the announcement from Kurt Angle that he is now no longer Director of Operations. He is now an active wrestler once again. Thank God. I would rather him as a wrestler than an authority figure. He's always been a better wrestler. Part of me does hate that he did not re-sign with the WWE, but from all the stuff I've read, it is because of the simple fact that they wanted him to wrestle a full-time schedule, and his body cannot take that, unfortunately. The match between him and MVP I thought was pretty decent for Kurt's first match back. I thought it was pretty solid with Kurt. I did think MVP did carry him a little bit in that match. MVP has always been one of my favorites. I thought WWE underutilized him and let him go too soon. I think he is eventually going to be a world champion in TNA. I do see that happening eventually. I do think that match was great. Angle won with an Angle Slam. The submissions by MVP, though, were phenomenal. He got him in about 10 to 15 different submissions in between that match. It was a great match and all. I did like that. I do think he did very good with the submissions, like I said. I liked how they did the backstage promo, or not promo, but the backstage showing of how MVP kind of was pissed off that Ken and King and Bobby Lashley was not out there like they usually are. I did like to see that tension in his group, which is very good. The interview with James Storm I thought was pretty good. James Storm, I think, is doing a better job at the cult following leader than Bray Wyatt has, because Bray Wyatt now is no longer a cult leader. He had the Wyatt family, now he no longer does. I think the Revolution is something neat. It's going to be interesting to see where it goes. With the Monster Abyss, Sonata, Manic, they also have that new wrestler they just signed from India. It looks like it's going to be part of their team, and they haven't really released what they're going to start to call him yet. So that's going to be interesting. I will say one thing about the Impact broadcast on Destination America I don't like is the cameras. They seem to be very wobbly, very shaky this first episode on Destination America, and the quality's not that great. So we'll see what happens there. The Revolution versus the Wolves. And then obviously you saw Matt and Jeff Hardy, the Hardy Boys, come out at the beginning to scout the match. All in all, I think it was a pretty good back and forth match. The Wolves seemed to have a nice dominance in the beginning. And then obviously the Revolution got involved, Manic and Sonata, and then the Hardys got involved, and that cost the Wolves the match. I do see this being, how do I want to say this the right way, being a way that they're going to build up a Hardys-Wolves rivalry, and maybe even the Revolution in there for the tag titles. I think that's going to be really good for the TNA. They've always been known to have a very good tag team division, better in my opinion than WWE. So that being said, I do think that TNA does have a better tag team division. I will have to say, I know this isn't wrestling related, but I did like the new tattoos I saw on the Wolves, of the actual wolf scratch they have on their shoulders. They both have matching tattoos now, and I thought that was really neat for them to really go into their characters. That's a very cool tattoo. Next, you had, like I said, it was crazy finish. You had EC3 come out. what do you got to say about this guy? To me, he's always sucked. He sucked when he was in WWE as Derek Bateman. He's not that good. You know, to be undefeated for 15 months is saying something, yes, but look at your wins, man. You haven't really beat anybody big. And then you did the fact thing. You ripped off Tyson Kidd. I mean, come on. You're ripping off a very low mid-carder in WWE. Come on, man. I do like Tyrus. They are making him this monster heel, which is what WWE should have done with him instead of making him a dancing fool. I do like where Tyrus is coming. The whole Jeremy Borash thing, shaving his head, not my style. Not really entertained by it. Then we had Low-Ki versus Austin Aries for the X Division title. I thought it was a solid match. A very solid match. Low-Ki is a very good wrestler, so is Austin Aries. I would love to see Austin in WWE one day, but I don't think that'll ever happen. He wins with the Brain Buster. 1, 2, 3. Now he's a 4-time X Division champion, which is great. And then next was the Knockout Battle Royal. Terrence Farrell retains the title surprisingly over Havoc. Havoc was the last one in the match. Havoc then attacks Terrence Farrell, and then lights go out, and boom! Awesome Kong. I'm a big fan of Awesome Kong. Always have been. I think she is one of the best female wrestlers to grace the ring since China, and I think Havoc also is up with them. I think that would be a great match to see Havoc versus Awesome Kong soon. And then Havoc leaves. She retreats like a little bitch. To say nicely. And then Rude versus Lashley was a pretty solid match. I didn't like the ending. MVP came down. He had 2 masked guys with him. And then they kind of unmasked themselves, and it was Low-Ki and Joe. I will be honest, that did surprise me. That was Low-Ki and Joe. Why would you have Samoa Joe, one of the biggest fan favorites, turn? But, it was a surprise. I don't think anybody saw that coming. Low-Ki, I don't know what you would have called him before that, a face or a heel. I think he was one of those that kind of teetered, depending on the crowd. But I will say that I was surprised that Joe turned. And then Eric Roode comes out with the chair. You think, okay, he's going to help him out. This is going to be a fair match from here on. And then Eric Young does the unthinkable and hits Bobby Roode with the chair. Lastly, then hits him with the spear and regains the TNA World Heavyweight Championship to the demise of everybody. I did see Bobby Roode's aftermath video. He is not very happy with Eric Young. He challenged Eric Young to a match next week live on Destination America. So out of the 5 stars, I give this Impact a 3-star rating. There were a couple things they could have improved. Camera quality, storytelling quality. But I hope next week will be better. I do know that they pre-tape their shows, but I will not be reading the dirt sheets. I do want to see them live. We'll see the show in progress. Again, that's Big Bubba. Big Bubba out!